Hey everybody, it's Rob from Flailthroughs, and this is again StarMade. As you can see, I have changed a few things. I am still living in an ice cave at the bottom of Planet Flailthroughs 1, but I've made some improvements. These are factory enhancers for one. I can connect them to my refinery, to any of my factories, to anything that has an output, and for each of these it will increase the output by one. So still takes the same amount of resources, it just lets you get more done at once. So if I attach all four of these to, say, the capsule refinery, it will refine five things at once. Still cost me the same five elements, but it will do five at once. So I did, oops, this is the wrong one. I should line this up better, but okay, I did ultimately find Hatel crystals. I bought these faction modules anyway because I was closer to the shop, but I found Hatel crystals. Planet Flailthroughs 2 has one face that actually has them. Not a lot, but I've gotten enough to refine. Gisper is currently my least possessed element, but I've had to do some back and forth running to make all the parts you see here because, as I said, our next trick is we are going to try and build a large ship and take on a pirate space station. We're going to fail. I just want to put that out there now. This will fail. That is why I have a bunch of power reactors, an extra ship's core, and a jump drive, so when I fail, I can run away as quick as I can and build a ship to get home. But I want to try this. We're going to build a ship, but to do that we're going to have to get out into orbit because building a ship on the ground, especially a large ship, is impractical. I believe this should be the latest StarMade update. That was my intent at any rate, and it has new parts you can make for a star dock, but I don't actually, it looks kind of complicated and I'm just barely, getting in the swing of things as it is. This is my mining ship. It also has a jump drive to get back and forth quicker. I've had a little bit of trouble with warping too close to the sun, but I'm surviving. Just in case I did get attacked on my way back and forth, which has happened once because I kind of ran into a pirate ship. But just in case, I have added some armor to this, so, or it may just be standard hull, just to put something between it and my most crucial systems. The jump drive's at the center because it's the most difficult and expensive, and then I layered the salvage beams on top of that, and the hull on top of that, so, somewhat defended. But for now, since I don't use Flail 1 anymore, we are going to take it to orbit and work on our warship there. It's not going to be a great warship, but it's going to be a warship. So if I were smart, I'd just take all the important components off of this, but I want to leave it as a backup. Hope pirates don't come by and blow it up in orbit while I'm not using it, but I also parked it funny, so, here we go. So let me show you another improvement I made. I got closer to that crudely drawn arrow I made and made something a little bit more visible and a little bit more arrow-like, so I can tell where I'm supposed to land now. This is a tower of ice crystal. I made it to see if I could, in fact, build far enough that I could just jump up out into space. I cannot. But it had the virtue of being visible when I'm just circling the planet so that I can figure out what face I should be getting to in order to get home from orbit. So it looks silly, but it does the job. This is going to be a theme. So let me make sure I'm out of gravity. Yep, full stop. You can't come to a full stop, apparently. I may have been accidentally using an earlier build because you cannot use a full stop in gravity, you'll always be moving downwards at a tiny bit no matter what, as far as I can tell, even if you hold the brake button. But yeah, so we are going to exit flail 1. We are going to move this way, and things are just going to suddenly zip around. Okay, now, we're just going to leave that there for now, in the hopes, because if I build the ship as big as I think I'm going to, I will need a way to get back to the planet's surface when I'm ready. So, let's start a new ship and see how it goes. Flail 3, oops, can't use hyphens, I forgot. Flail 3, and we'll see how this works. So, build mode. Now, I am going to actually, I've made some camera modules here, so I am actually going to put this ship in the center of, or this core in the center of the ship. I'm going to make ways in and out, but, and I made some wedges here just for the sake of style, but I am going to put like a control center in the center of the ship. I should have made some doors, that was a mistake, but we'll just make a small entrance, probably just a port on top I can drop into, and go from there. I can put an ice crystal in it to provide light on the inside. So we'll start by building a floor. It'll probably need to be a fairly big floor, but I'm going to start with this much and put a wall in front of the control center. That will hopefully keep me alive. Okay, so there's that much. I need to make this longer back here. So this episode and possibly the next couple are going to be some, like, you know, build mode work. Let me put an ice block, an ice crystal down in here. There, that's nicely lit. There are other ways to get light, of course, but they require power, which an ice crystal does not. So I am actually going to exit the ship here, wherever I may be. I have exited. There's the top. I wanted to see if I can drop right in. There. And enter the ship's core. Yeah. Okay, that's set up. So yeah, I want this enclosed, but rather, since there's going to be layers to this, rather than put more hull on the sides yet, it's going to be reactor modules. Oh, hello, Mr. Sun. I do not seem to be close enough to be in any danger, but still, hello, Mr. Sun. Okay, so there's the reactor modules. Now, behind this, let's not armor around it yet. I want to start putting guns on this beast. So that's thrusters. They'll come last, probably. I've got 25 cannon barrels there and 50 damage beam modules. I was thinking about slaving the damage beam to the cannon barrel, but I'm not sure. You know, probably a good idea. Multiple weapon systems are probably not going to serve me particularly well here. So let me set that up, because you can do that. You can slave one weapon system type to another, and in exchange you get different effects. I believe the damage beam increases the damage and range of the cannon computer, but we'll find out. Select. Now place the damage beam here, and V. They are connected. So now I believe I need at least one damage beam barrel for every cannon barrel. So I have that, of course, so we'll see what we get out of this. I have 25 cannon barrels. And there is a specific button you can press to pick which barrel is the output barrel if you have multiple barrels in one location linked to one another, but I do not remember what it is. I tend to make heavy ships because I like armor. I like not blowing up on my first shot because I know I am going to be awful at dogfighting, so, you know, that's a consideration. I'll put the next one on, the last one on the bottom, and armor around it as need be. Like I said, I'm not putting the jump drive on this because I fully expect if I do, I will explode. So I don't want to explode, so we will do it this way. I probably should have linked the cannon to the damage beam instead, but so is life. Oops, wrong one. There. Damage beam module. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could make a second damage beam computer, but yeah. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you need barrels to get the one-to-one connection. I'm not 100% certain. They're not lighting up, so it's possible that you do not, and these are just going to end up being useless. But I think you do. I think you have to have, because, you know, it says a one-to-one connection, so, you know, 2 computers, that would be simple. So since that's not what it is, you know, I think it has to be like this. Okay, okay, so, and on this one, I'm a slave to symmetry. Let's just do it there. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we have our guns set up. They should, I think, be set up properly. I have 25 more damage beam barrels, and I am sorely tempted to go back down and make another damage beam computer just to have the 2. Yeah, I don't have any. I have 2 faction blocks and 3 cameras, but no damage beam computers. Okay, now, no, we'll stick with this, and we'll stick with 1 main weapon and see how that does for us. Now, we are next going to set up our cameras. And actually, no, there's something else that we need to do first, which is, with this setup, I'm almost positive I'm going to need more power. So we are going to fill in between the guns with more reactor modules. Like that. And hope that that actually does something of use. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This, like I said, this ship is going to be like ridiculously heavy. It's not going to maneuver very well, I don't think, though I am going to put a thruster pretty much on every rear-facing thing that it has. So, okay, next thing is a camera. I'm going to have several, but this is the start. Okay. It was not what I wanted, so now we have to hold control, bring up this menu, and switch facings until we get the one we want. That should be correct. And is. Now we do it again until we get the next facing we want. There's that. And again. And this is going to be a pretty impressive failure, I think, when this ship goes up. But I am going to try. So I think that's right. It is! Excellent. Okay, that's the main camera. For one thing, I'm going to put an overhang here that I have to walk behind in order to get in the ship, just because I don't want to accidentally get myself shot. So it's, let's see, that is not the right shape. Kind of a neat look, but not what I want. So, and there we go. I could actually, and it makes sense to fill this in. But yeah, I think just like Minecraft, you're like 2 blocks tall. Minecraft and the original Metroid. That's something interesting. If you ever look at Super Metroid, and trust me, I am not mocking Super Metroid. I love me some Super Metroid. But if you look at Samus the between the first Metroid and Super Metroid, she has actually gotten taller. In the original Metroid, Samus is 2 blocks tall. In Super Metroid, and I believe most subsequent Metroids, she is 3 blocks tall. So, let's see. I do still need armor on the rest of this, though, so I may have been premature in glare. Getting a little J.J. Abrams in here. I may have been a little premature on putting this stuff on. Actually, let's use... No, because I'll need more. We'll place the armor wedges on the... Do I have enough? I'd need 10 for each side, and I do not have enough, so we will use them on the outside edges. And gonna just armor straight across here, because we'll need it. I don't want to leave any of my systems exposed except thrusters. They're reasonably disposable. I mean, I would rather not have them disposed of, but you know. Let's see. I'm gonna... No, I don't know. Well, I'll put thrusters on the back of those. But let's start armoring this. I'm just winging it. I did not have a specific ship design in mind. You can probably tell. But yeah, I did a fair amount of exploring and mining in between sessions to get materials for this and for whatever else may be needed. Wow, this thing is a mess. What's the power look like? 2149 recovered per second. That's not awful. Is that what I'm doing on the other side too? Yeah. Okay, so I'll need like some sloped edging pieces, but not all. Leave myself a doorway. A doorway. That's what I did on the other side, yes? Yes. Okay, yeah, so I think I should have named this the Starship Monstrosity, but let's put some of these in place. Control, not quite, so let's go at an angle, maybe it'll be a little bit easier to tell. It is. That looks right, and is. For some value of right, which, you know. Oops! I changed my facing, they didn't change theirs, so we'll do this 2 at a time. I'm going to add another camera as a backup, because I've watched enough Gundam. You know. That's not right. Do it at an angle so you can see, Rob. There we go. That. Yes, I'm going to plan for that. I can still fight. You just took out my main camera, etc. Well, I can do the bottom spot with that, so... No, that's backwards to what I actually want, so... would you stop shining in the face, please?